latest episode of Fireface ASMR. I'm your local host, Face, and today we're going to talk about some tech shit. Let's do it.
Alright, sorry about that weirdness, but yeah, what's up? It's me, Face, and we're back with Tech Shit with Face, the sub-series on the channel where I go over the tech that we use to make our videos. So yeah, let's get started for real. So, you probably haven't been wondering where this series has been, but I'm gonna explain it to you real quickly with this little montage. Personal space.
Jesus Christ, that's bright!
I can totally sing! Homer, when are you making the next Fire Friday? Alright, so today we're going to be talking about the iPad Pro. Let's start with some general specs. It was released in October 2018, has a 2388 by 1668 120Hz display at 600 nits, has an A12X Bionic chip, a 12 megapixel rear camera, which is almost as good as our camera, but you know, we have 16, this one has 12, and it's also at f1.8, which is pretty good. It has a front-facing camera featuring true depth for Animoji and, obviously, the best feature of like any device featuring this, Memoji, and portrait mode.
And loud quad front-facing speakers.
So you're probably wondering, why am I doing an episode about the iPad Pro? First off, it's my show, I can do exactly whatever I want. And honestly, it's a pretty intriguing piece of tech. It's edited quite a few of the last few videos you've seen on the channel, and it's poised as being a laptop replacement, which for some people is honestly pretty reasonable. And honestly, the iPad is so awesome, it just destroys any other tablet in the game. Like, come on, you can't compete with its awesomeness here. It's pretty awesome. What do I like about the iPad Pro? As I already said, the display. Oh my god, the display. Everything about it is just amazing and fantastic. It's 120 Hertz, which might not seem like it makes much of a difference, but when you're navigating the operating system, it makes it feel that much more responsive and smooth. And it has 600 nits of brightness, meaning it's gonna burn your eyeballs if you turn it at full brightness in the dark. It's so bright and cool. Another thing about it is, it's very color accurate, which I will talk about why that's helpful in another part of the video. One really awesome thing about the iPad Pro is that it has a USB-C port now instead of a Lightning port. So the average iOS device has a Lightning port, and then the iPad Pro has a USB-C port, which is pretty awesome because you know what that means? Apple is going mainstream and finally moving away from all the proprietary ports. At least that's what I hope. What's great about the USB-C port is it allows me to use adapters like this to plug my SD card straight into the iPad and download most of my videos and photos straight into the Photos app, which is pretty helpful, especially when we talk about what's next. Did I say we were going to talk about photos and video stuff yet? Yeah, I lied. We're going to talk about the speakers. First off, we're going to use this track, and we're going to play it on the iPhone 7 and the iPad Pro. Let's give it a shot. iPhone 7. iPad Pro. Seven. Pro. Now, I wasn't lying when I said those speakers are loud, and the video might not convey that properly, but in person, you will really know that those speakers kick. How has the iPad Pro been useful to me? It's been a very competent machine for light photo and video editing with apps like Lightroom, and to a lesser extent, Photoshop Mix, and LumaFusion. Side note, if you want a separate tech shit episode about LumaFusion, drop 20 likes on this video and we'll talk about it. Also, it's a fantastic device for media consumption. Apps like Netflix, Hulu, and YouTube look super crispy on the display, and as you already heard, those loudspeakers make listening to music an absolute treat. Okay, so this is me being lazy, but I love the iPad Pro because I can just sit in bed instead of having to get up to my computer, wait for it to turn on, and then do my work. I can just sit in bed, get this, work on the scripts and whatever for our next few projects, and just be ready to go. And finally, due to the super color accurate screen, it's allowed me to dive into the very complicated world of color grading, which is why our last few videos have actually been consistent color and not look like total garbage like our first few videos. You know which ones I'm talking about, but if you don't, I'll link them right here. What don't I like about the iPad? First off, the price. At $800 for the base model, which is the 11-inch at 64 gigs, my model, that hurts pretty hard in the wallet. Not to mention that the top spec model, which is the 12-inch at 1 terabyte of space, would cost you $1,750. Apple, do you see this? You see this? It's empty. We're really in the Broke Boy gang. The next thing is that the iPad Pro does not have a headphone jack. Yeah, no headphone jack. Honestly, I could tolerate that on the iPhone because, you know, you have the lightning dongle, right? But this does not include a USB-C to headphone dongle. What? It doesn't matter though. There's no stopping Apple now. Soon there will be no headphone jacks in the Macs either. I know I said I liked the USB-C port, but I do have a small problem with it. I've spent years getting lightning port accessories for my other Apple devices for them to all be useless with this device. But I can't complain too hard though because future. My last real nitpick with the iPad Pro is pricing again. Not with the iPad, because I've already had my beef with it, but with the two accessories that you need to really get the most out of it. Those being the Smart Keyboard and the Apple Pencil 2.0. At $310, $130 for the Pencil, $180 for their Smart Keyboard, that hurts even more. Apple, don't you remember? I mean, you don't care, but you should at least know. We're in the Broke Boy gang. Alright, so what's the bottom line? The iPad Pro is a very interesting device with very compelling reasons to get it, but very compelling reasons to not. As a low-end laptop replacement for those who don't ask much of their devices, I'd say do it. Sorry, Linus. But here's looking at you, Jonathan. If you were looking for a device for serious on-the-go work, you probably scoffed this away already at the announcement and probably aren't even watching this video. For those like me who want a little device that does almost everything it's asked of, editing, simple though, and media consumption, and etc., it's a good, not great buy. Do I regret getting it? No. Do I think it's a little overpriced? Yes, but of course it would be. It's the Apple tax you pay. At $1,100 to get the most out of it at minimum, you could consider looking at a MacBook. There is no comparable MacBook at this price point that could handily edit and export DCI 4K footage no problem. And to me, that alone is one of the best selling points. Alright everybody, that concludes today's episode of Tech Shit with Face. If you like what you saw here, make sure you click that like button. If you want to see more like it, make sure you click that subscribe. And if you want to know when we post, make sure you click that little bell. Alright everybody, I'll see you next time on the next episode of
Fireface Tech ASMR. Subscribe, like, share, do all that good stuff.